Welcome back, everyone, to Transitioning from Lockdown to Freedom, the social media channel for returning offenders. My name is Sheila. I am not a counselor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or any type of caseworker. I am merely an authorized facilitator for the course, The House of Healing. I do ask if you feel you need additional support while we listen to one of these videos, or even while not listening to one of these videos, that you seek professional medical attention. I decided to bring this course online because I see so many offenders being released from prison without guidance, and I believe this course is a way we can congregate with like-minded people. I will ask that you please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we won't miss one of these videos, and we'll be able to walk through this course together. Although the House of Healing is not responsible for publishing these videos, this course was written by Robin Kasajian and published by the Lionheart Foundation. You can receive a copy of the book by going to www.lionheart.org. The book is a great tool to effectively follow along with this curriculum. I do recommend you get the book. Again, I did not write this material. I am a facilitator. I like to use this course as a great tool of assisting you in transitioning your mind from that institutionalized mindset to a law-abiding citizen mindset. And while doing these videos, the number one goal is for you not to return to incarceration and to begin to live a normal, everyday life while trying to minimize the stress of trying to figure out how you're going to make it after incarceration. Okay, since the last time, I hope you have considered ordering the book, House of Healing book. I believe on the Lionheart Foundation site, it is around $15. Again, we will go through this book without a lot of back and forth communication. Mostly I will be facilitating the book without interaction from you. If you are interested in joining a group facilitated course, send me an email to wit@mehelpingyou.com. In the subject line, put interested in online course, and in the body, recognize if you're male or female. I believe that this course is better facilitated with one of the other groups, especially since it was written for prison and returning offenders. Okay, the online group course will be much more structured and confidential, so expect to agree to a few disclosures before being able to enter. Besides the price of the book, I do not believe there is no additional fee at this time. Okay, let's begin. It is so nice to be back. I love teaching this course, and I'm always excited about the outcome of the House of Healing course. We have a lot of course material to cover, so I hope we will be able to focus on the matters at hand. There are 13 more lessons in this course, and our goal is to get through all of them. So in the previous lesson, or the previous video of self-work, we were to read Cedric's story and Joe's story. In an earlier video, we did a speed writing exercise. We took time to think about who am I and wrote it in our notebooks. We did the true or false core self quiz, and we are really moving right along. Okay, let's start with Cedric's story. Okay, a few questions I will ask, and I want you to take some time to think about it. How old do you think Cedric was in this story? And how old was the man in the story that Cedric was talking to? What type of guy would you describe Cedric? Do you feel like he was wearing a mask? Another question, what type of guy was the guy that Cedric was talking to? Does it appear that he was wearing a mask? If your answer was yes, which it should have been, ask yourself and try to reflect, what type of mask were they wearing? The two gentlemen, do you think people are born this way? Or do you believe through life's challenges, people become this way? Would you call the mask that they were wearing coping skills? The hardcore, unfriendly type of guy. Why do you feel he was acting this way? Do you think this is who he really is? His core self? What type of guy did he become after talking with Cedric? Did you see some of the wisdom, strength, goodness, courage, love, humor, peace in this tough guy? So you have to ask yourself, who is he really? Let me ask you a question. Why incarcerated? Did you know anyone who wore that type of mask? But let me go another step further. Did you wear that type of mask? So how did Cedric break through to this guy? I want you to think about it. What price did this guy pay for being caught up in his tough guy role and being separated from his true self? I would say misery played a big part in it. Okay, if you ordered your and received your House of Healing book, turn to page 4. Looking at page 4, you will find Joe's story. We're going to go through Joe's story with a few questions. Something to think about, a time to reflect. What would we say Joe's story is about? Would you agree with change? Joe said the two choices out in the streets for him was dead or in prison. Thinking back, is that the way you felt? Your two choices was dead or in prison? That was the outcome that you were looking for? Is that the outcome that you believe? Joe said while on the streets, his two purposes in life was having a macho image and fitting in. Reflect. What was your image while you were out on the street? Was it the same as Joe? Macho image and fitting in? Or was it something different? Joe's fear was change. When you look back, what was your fear? Although Joe kept living his life, how was his inner self? In his story, he says, Joe tells us that he was exhausted and miserable. The whole time while Joe was out in the streets, he said he became exhausted and miserable. How did you feel when you were out in the streets? Were you the same as Joe? And if so, or even if not, just by hanging out the street and knowing that you caught up in a merry-go-round, sometimes you have to just take a break and ask yourself, why? Can anyone identify with Joe's story? I have a few more questions. What did Joe have to do to accept change? In Joe's story, he said he had to become more open-minded. And what happened when Joe became more open-minded? I'm going to read the last two sentences of Joe's story. Joe said, when I became more open-minded, a whole new world opened up right before my eyes. What I came to find out was that you are capable of change and personal healing no matter how bad off you think you are. Okay, I want to let you know that the stories that we're reading in this book are real. The writer got this material from several different testimonies while ministering in the prison system. Okay, I personally like this course and feel very comfortable about teaching this course because it gives a chance to let you become more familiar with you. That you that is always with you, no matter what. Okay, what I like to do now is for you to take out your sheet that states, I used to be this way. I would like to be this way. Again, I used to be this way. I would like to be this way. And I want us to take a moment and elaborate on each statement. I want you to take a minute to look again at what you wrote. Every time you look at what you wrote, it should have a special meaning. Okay, I want to go through another exercise so we won't get too far behind in our self-work. You may recall the core self quiz. I will read the questions and the answers from the facilitator's manual. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. We will take this quiz later in the curriculum and compare your now answers to your then answers. Okay, let's begin. No matter what you have done in the past, yourself remains good and worthwhile. True. If someone doesn't like him or herself, it shows they have no core self. False. If someone was really abused and they feel like there's something wrong with them, they feel like they're damaged goods, then their core self is damaged too. False. No matter what, the true self is always there. It can't be destroyed. True. People who are mean or cruel have no core self. False. Some people's core selves are better than other people's core selves. False. If a person has committed a really destructive and violent crime like murder and rape, then their core self is destroyed. False. No matter what has happened to you or what you did, you are still good, wise, and strong at your core. True. You are just as good today as the day you were born. True. If you do a lot of really bad things for a really long time, then the core self will finally turn bad too. False. As we go further with these videos, I hope we better understand why the author of the House of Healing book chose the answers and better understand why we agree or disagree with her response. I believe this is a great breaking point. I ask again, if you have not done so, number your paper from 1 to 20 and ask yourself by each number, who am I? Again, I repeat, ask yourself, who am I? And we will cover this session in our next video. Okay, if you have your books, kindly read the section on page 100 of your books, who's doing what to whom. And one more thing. As you go through each day, reflect on the following seed thoughts and affirm. I am willing to see. There's another way at looking at the world. Again, I am willing to see. There is another way of looking at the world. With that said, we're transitioning from lockdown to freedom. Have a blessed day.